want to say I'm so glad that you're here. I have the song Kind and Generous by Natalie Merchant going through my head all morning, and I was like, oh, it totally represents how I feel about each and every one of you. Thank you for being so kind and generous and loving to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're having a blessed day so far. So in this reading, we're going to be looking at what are you not seeing? What is your message from the universe? What does the universe want you to know right now? That sort of thing. So we have 4 different groups. Group number 1 with Howlite. Group number 2 with Salmon Calcite. Group number 3 with Bumblebee Jasper. And group number 4 with Rose Quartz. So, with that being said, 4 different groups. Timeless. This is a timeless reading. So whenever you feel drawn to watch this, whether it's 5 years from now, tomorrow, well, tomorrow for me, whenever you want to watch it, and you're feeling drawn to it, this can have messages for you. So do know it's timeless, and you are allowed to pick or be drawn to more than one group. That's a common question that I'm often asked. Can I pick more than one group? Yes, you can. You can always do that. Each one can hold a message for you. So with that being said, of course, I ask you to tune into your intuition, your higher self, your heart, and choose with that, and see where you're feeling drawn to when whether it's something that catches your eye, or you just feel that special feeling, or you even see, some people see auras around certain things. So however you tune in into your intuition, do remember that it's important with pick a cards to use your intuition. That is how you connect. As a reader, I'm only allowed to give the messages. They may be accurate to you or not. It depends on you and what you're choosing. So always exercise that caution when you watch pick a card readings in general, that it relies a lot on you picking the right group, you finding your message, because it's your intuition that's leading you there. So do remember that, if you feel like it's not resonating, take a step back and maybe repick, or understand that the message might unfold over time. So there are different ways that can work out. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of say that, and I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Like I said, liking, subscribing, commenting is very helpful. So if you want to do that at the end of your reading, if you haven't already, I would love to hear from you. And yeah, that's what I've got to say. So I hope that this finds you well, and let's get started. Hey friends, if you chose group number 1 here with this Howlite, this is your reading. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what is your message from the universe, what's being hidden from you, what are you not seeing, that sort of thing. Let's see what comes through. So we have prosperity, holy water, starfish, Four of Pentacles. That glare is like something else, isn't it? Career. Imagine. And your last card is, it's okay to have needs and to fulfill them. So that is definitely a message a lot of you probably need to hear right now, is that you have needs in your life, and it is okay for you to go for them. Oftentimes we're blocking ourselves because we feel like our needs shouldn't be met. We often are kind of placing the emphasis on other people's needs. I feel like for a lot of you, you are holding yourself back from some kind of prosperity in your career, okay? Because we have the career card coming out, and we have prosperity, okay? Now, the starfish is such an interesting card because it really, in this particular deck, so this is the Animal Spirit Oracle, it talks about superficiality, okay? So sometimes looking at shallow things that are not very fulfilling, it can feel empty. It feels like in some way you are meant to experience in this lifetime some sort of career that's very fulfilling to you. And thus far, many of you might not have found that thing yet, okay? You may be some of you might have found yourself in a position of getting into something that is unfulfilling. Maybe it was fulfilling at one time. And that's one thing I want to say here that's quite important, is that oftentimes we are changing in our life. We are not meant to stick in one spot. Just because you have a change of heart 10 years after you start something, or even a year, or even 6 months after you start something, does not mean that it didn't serve a purpose or that you made a mistake. Okay, so that's a message for some of you that you need to hear. Okay. The starfish message says, the starfish is a natural and exquisite beauty, mesmerizing to all. Being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself. The problem is, these creatures have been reliant on how they look and what other people think of them for so long that they may have forgotten their deeper callings. When this card appears, it's important to ask, am I being swayed by outward appearances? What dreams have I put aside to please others? And here's that thing, I feel like a lot of you have sort of, and maybe you're not even aware of this on a conscious level, it might be subconscious, that you have sort of fulfilled other people's needs instead of your own. Okay, and that might be something that you don't see about yourself, that you might be holding back in certain areas of your life because you worry, how will it look, what would people think? It's a real struggle, and it doesn't make someone shallow. Society works on interaction. The basis of an astrology chart is the ascendant descendant, that is the horizon, and we meet life and experiences through other people. We learn to talk through other people. We have, someone holding our hands as we learn to walk. And interactions are extremely important in our life. Friendships, connections, relationships with our family. But they can sometimes they can be uplifting and sometimes they can be limiting. And oftentimes we have such deep-seated ideas that come from our interactions with other people that really shape the way that we believe, even on a very subconscious level. Only through therapy and a lot of self-reflection do we start to realize our patterns or why we do certain things that we do. So I feel like some of you are ignoring certain needs. And again, it might be because you're afraid of suffering. Maybe you're afraid, for some of you might be afraid of a career change because you are worried that, it would leave you vulnerable when it comes to money, as an example. Or, again, what would people think if you you did that thing? I want to tell you, even if that doesn't resonate, I want to tell you that everything that you can imagine is possible. And you should definitely ignore any such feelings that you need to keep yourself in empty situations, keep yourself unfulfilled. I feel like there's so much fulfillment out there for you, especially those of you that have been imagining and daydreaming for so long about a certain thing. This is almost like that message to get off your butt and do it, like get it going, that sort of thing, okay? To bring the starfish into balance, we need to surround ourselves with positive friends, positive people. It is so important in this lifetime to be uplifting to other people, but also to find people that are uplifting to you. And for some of you, one thing that you might not be seeing is that there are certain people around you that have an effect on you in a negative way. And for some of you, it might be for different reasons. It could be because that person genuinely is, kind of a negative, outlook type of person, or people. It could be people. Otherwise, too, sometimes it's our inner self denying some sort of need. Oftentimes, even myself, when I was younger, I would often find myself jealous of outgoing people, or disliking them. They're too loud. They're too this. They're too that. But actually, it was a lot of my own fear of being that, or my own uncomfortableness with being that made me dislike them. So that's something to really think about for some of you. And like I said, this is a general reading, so if the message is not sitting with you, don't take it. That's for some people, okay? But yeah, so that is what I'm seeing. I really feel like there is prosperity for you, and it's beyond the traditional perhaps as well. It's maybe beyond what you think is possible, or what other people have told you is possible. And again, other people give us messages through media, we learn from so many different places, our outlooks of what's success, what's beautiful, what's successful, right? So you have the card Holy Water as well, and it says here, Holy Water shows that your gift is clarity at this time. You have all the resources you need to progress with your current situation. Go with the flow and watch how things unfold, trusting that this will lead you to your goal. You will shortly receive a blessing, perhaps even news that you were not expecting. Consider whether you are in need of a cleansing. Perhaps demands on you have left you drained. Wash yourself down with holy water, meditate upon this card daily, and drink only spring water whenever possible. Look at your belief systems and the way of life to ensure that they are good for you, and expect change to occur in your world. That's another thing. I do feel like a lot of you are about to kind of receive some sort of prosperity. There is a pathway opening up for you. For a lot of you, like you are going to receive some sort of news coming in, especially in regards to prosperity, career, finance, business. There is a shift coming in that area of your life. And knowing not to reject it when it comes. That you don't balk and, your knees lock up and you start to think, I don't deserve this, or I couldn't possibly have this, or this isn't possible, or this is out of the realm of possibility, this isn't for me, everyone says this is bullshit. I don't want to hear any of that. I think that you should make sure that you are not sabotaging yourself when this news comes in. Because oftentimes we can have something come in that's wonderful, and then we start to think, it must be a scam, or they must be bullshitting me, or this couldn't possibly be happening to me, or I don't deserve that. These types of thoughts are not the thoughts that the universe wants you to cultivate. You need to cultivate positive thoughts, okay? And I feel like there's definitely a period of really good flow in your life coming. Just don't disrupt that flow with your reactions, with your stagnancy, with your inability sometimes to kind of embrace a moment without overthinking it, or stalling is a big one for some of you. I feel like for some of you, you stall, you procrastinate, you put it off because there's a fear. But yeah, I do want to tell you that prosperity is yours. Everything you've imagined can come true, especially when it comes to big goals like career and such things like that. Okay, so that is what I'm seeing for those of you that chose group number 1. I really hope that this reading was helpful. I hope it was insightful. I hope it spoke to your heart and helped you kind of look at yourself a little bit differently. Know that you are capable of anything that you imagine. That prosperity is yours, and you should be coming into a beautiful period of flow as long as you don't stall it or hold back. Okay? Especially in favor of other people, or what other people think, or even what you think deep down because you've been programmed to believe a certain way. Okay? So, lots of blessings to you. Comment below if you like the reading. Subscribing always helps. All the support you can through commenting, liking, subscribing is appreciated very much. It helps spread the word and hopefully bring some uplifting message to another person that also needs it. But I wish you the very, very best. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next reading. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 2 with this salmon calcite, this is your reading. Very beautiful little stone here. I'm going to try to, I have my ring light a little bit closer to me than usual. I'm going to watch out for the glare. It's been kind of glary in this position. So let's go ahead and see what your message is from the universe. So we have pride, wizard, horse, Queen of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles, well-being, flexible, and it's okay to take your time. So it's so interesting with it's okay to take your time in the horse. The horse in particular, I always think of as quite fast. I grew up riding horses, so they can be quite fast, very free. Sometimes there's this impatience to a horse. It's like they're kind of stamping around. They're excited to move. And for some of you, this might be a message here to be flexible with time frames right now. Be flexible with what your expectations are. Do not feel like everything has to come like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. If something is not an overnight success, you give up, okay? Your pride is damaged. For some of you, that is a message you need to hear right now. If something is not going your way, do not run away from it. Remain flexible. Take your time. Keep going. Be patient. Outreach to other people as well. Get collaborations. Ask for advice from people you trust. Okay? So that's really one thing I'm picking up right away as a message. So understand that not everything has to come quickly. Not everything has to happen on your time frame. Okay, sometimes it takes a little hard work, elbow grease, some effort, and getting things done. And it might not always, and when it, for some of you, you're really facing something maybe where you haven't had the success that you thought you would in the time frame that you thought you would. You expect something quicker, and this could be to tell you, don't feel like you have to rush. Okay, that there is a timing for everything. The horse represents the most masterful form of earth energy within this deck. It provides us with momentum so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back toward any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. That you can do it. You can do anything you set your mind to. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice. Physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus, meditation, are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. So, to bring the horse energy into balance, especially we have well-being there. So we are getting a strong emphasis on exercise and daily routines, daily practice, daily habits, okay? To bring this into balance, you use strength training. So a lot of you may be called right now from the universe to really, some of you really might have started an exercise regime, or you're working towards some kind of goal in a physical sense, and you need to be told, hey, this ain't overnight. You know what I mean? This takes days and work and dedication. That you're on the right track. Remain flexible. If you're not seeing results right away, keep going, keep trying, don't give up. That is such a specific message for some of you, like especially for those of you that are really struggling with some sort of stagnation in your life, or depression, or feeling of like emptiness or something like that. I feel like actually mind and body exercises will be very vital for you at this time to kind of increase your growth, okay? So focusing on the physical body, the physical well-being, but also the spiritual well-being. So that's one thing I want you to know at this time, is that you might do well with exercise. You might do well with some kind of physical activity, maybe strength training, but it could be, which can come into many different forms. But don't expect like these overnight results. Keep at it is one thing I want you to do, especially with pride here. Oftentimes when we expect something quickly and we have our high hopes set on something and it doesn't follow through right away, our pride gets hurt. Okay? The other thing I want to say is that don't be afraid to kind of reach out to other people and collaborate because of pride. Sometimes we're afraid to reach out because we don't want to seem vulnerable, or like we're stupid, or whatever kind of little thought processes we have going through our heads. So don't be afraid to kind of rely on other people to collaborate at this time, to reach out. Be flexible in that area. When the horse is in balance, it achieves anything and it never gives up. And that is one thing that you're being told not to do, is not to give up. The Queen of Pentacles is like an earth energy, and earth energy can be quite stable. And one thing that earth energy can be is quite stuck. But there's movement, but it takes a lot of earth changes. The changes in the earth that come from the earth itself are subtle. Volcanoes, mountains, it's very subtle kind of energy. Mountains were not, something that just appeared like that. It's something that happened with change, slow change. So do understand that you are making strong changes in your life, strong foundations, but they may not come, as quickly as a tornado or as quickly as a hurricane. Okay? Okay, so yeah. Okay. Yeah, when the horse is out of balance, it runs away and it feels weak. And here you're being told not to feel weak, that you can be as strong as you want to be. As strong as you can, you will be strong. I feel like a lot of you are building some sort of strength spiritually and physically, or you're being called to do that at this time. With the Wizard card, we have spiritual impeccability. And this is one of my favorite decks that I actually rarely use, but it's one of my favorites. Long-time favorite oracle. Wizard reveals that you have the potential to be charismatic and influential at this time. But beware, for Wizard carries a cautionary note. Are you being used or using another? When you find that you are in a position of authority, control, or influence, ensure that your powers are utilized for the greater good and not for personal prestige or gain. Do not be tempted by your ego. Impeccability is essential if one is to retain magical or spiritual gifts. Impeccability is essential if one... Oh, sorry. I just repeated myself. Oops. Current circumstances may be a test to see how much spiritual wisdom you deserve to carry. Move forward with integrity. The high note of this card is that actions that are taken now wield powerful results. Low note, More ego, less spirit. Challenge self-importance. So this is a vibration of spirit and impeccability. This is where we confront our self-importance and our ego. And so in some way you might be able to kind of incorporate this sort of energy into your own life and your own interactions in life. Make sure that your pride does not kind of get in the way of collaboration and agreements with other people, learning something new. Okay, that's one thing I want to say right now. I feel like a lot of you are going to be faced with some sort of choice in the near future where you are going to be relying on your spiritual impeccability, that you're going to be able to kind of act from a place of ego or a place of spiritual alignment where you're feeling good in yourself. And that's one thing I really want to say for some of you. So make sure that you're checking your interactions with other people. And like I said, that's not an attack on anyone. It's just something to think about. Even myself, I can act from ego. We all can. Where we're feeling a little bit prideful or hurt easily, or we're feeling a little insecure, and that can somehow color our interactions with other people. Maybe where we're not responding in an authentic way, or we're, you know, maybe being jealous or whatnot, you know, whatever that is. Remain flexible. And one thing I want to say is when you look to other people, understand as well that you can achieve what they have. That's another thing I'm really feeling like saying intuitively. So if you do look at other people and you think, why do they have that and I don't? Know that you can have these things as well. Okay? My ears are actually ringing quite a lot for this particular group. I don't know why. It's just like a very loud ring today. I guess it's quite quiet in here too, but I do notice like a higher level of ringing. So I don't know if some of you get ringing signs, or you might have ringing signs at an important moment. Whenever we see signs, I would say to you to make sure you look at what you're thinking about, the vibration you're at, and kind of clues around you, okay, for when you're seeing signs or getting ear ringing, as what the message might mean or what it's trying to get your attention. I feel like ear ringing is often Spirit's way of trying to get our attention, or even our body's way, our higher self's idea of like, hey, pay attention. You know what I mean? So if you're in a bad mood, as an example, or you're feeling kind of, your ego's wounded, as an example, in that moment, it might be like, hey, wake up, you have potential. Don't let that, because sometimes our egos can be so detrimental to us. But here, again, I want to say, working with other people is highly effective right now for you. Make sure you're working in a way that's healthy and balanced for all of you. Both, you know what I mean? Even for yourself, make sure that you're, you know, surrounding yourself with people that lift you up rather than put you down. But again, well-being. I think there's a strong emphasis on taking care of yourself physically at this time. And that's one of your, I think, big messages here for this particular group. I feel led to take one of these cards. So 1 second, I'm just going to do that. Because I see a lot here about the physical well-being. And so I want to take a message of healing for you. Okay? So what message of healing does group number 2 need to hear? Examine your personal interactions. Know that you can be a gift to people. That you hold a lot of potential to help other people, to be a gift to them. Make sure that you're utilizing that. Okay? Let's see what the card says. It says, today's lesson. Determine whether you're someone who's always giving to others, but who feels unnoticed or unappreciated. If this applies to you, it may be because you have a private agenda to seek love that's built into your motivation to be of service. Your goal, to examine whether your interactions with others leave you feeling empowered or disempowered. Interesting. So have you been feeling unnoticed or unappreciated? I feel like that's, number one, a message that you are appreciated, actually, more than you might think. You might feel at times that you're somehow unable to kind of help other people, but I think that you are able to help people, that you are effective in that, okay? But again, make sure that you are actually utilizing that and not letting pride, as an example, or ego to affect your influence on other people. And sometimes we have that private agenda to seek love that's built into the motivation to be of service, and sometimes we want to help people because somehow we want to sort of, you know, tap into that part of ourselves. It's like we get compliments or praise, so we overdo it sometimes to our own detriment or well-being. So make sure you're not bending over backwards exactly, and being too flexible. Okay, that's a message for some of you too. Don't be too flexible, and then give up your own self in the process of trying to help other people, especially if they aren't appreciating it, if they aren't being thoughtful, in return. Okay, so lots of messages here. Hopefully, I have a good feeling that many people might choose this group, because usually if there are a lot of different messages kind of coming in, there's a lot of different people watching. So take what was yours, and you'll know intuitively what message was yours, and I hope that it helps shed some kind of insight in your life, and I hope that this message is well received. I hope that it finds you blessed, happy, and healthy, and I do hope that you guys can find some sort of hope and move forward in a good way in your life. And yeah, so anyway, liking, subscribing, commenting is so helpful. So if you want to do that, I would love it. It helps this video reach other people and maybe give them some insightful messages. So liking, commenting helps the engagement, and I appreciate it very much. Take care of yourself, and I will see you all in the next reading. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello friends, if you chose group number 3 here with this Bumblebee Jasper, this is your reading. So let's go ahead and see what messages are there from the universe for you. What are you not seeing in your life? What do you need to know? Well, let's look. So we have compassion, fish, Ten of Swords, transformation, butterfly energy here, very strong. So some of you might be very connected to butterflies around this time frame. And we also have spider. So spiders, butterflies, you might have a lot of insects around you. Only in the darkness can we see the stars and all that glitters. So let's see, what is your message? So the fish here talks about restlessness, a change of focus, being lost in the current. For some of you, there is such a specific message. I'm just going to go and blurt it out right now, okay? Some of you are self-sabotaging. You are distracted very easily, and you kind of are too slippery in life. And this comes from not seeing... Okay, first of all, I feel like it's a pattern for some of you. This is something that you do. You get distracted. It's almost like, okay, so sometimes we do things, we have health things pop up, or we do certain patterns because we have a deeper subconscious motivation. So distracted minds, as an example, sometimes are trying not to face something, as an example. And I feel like some of you are actually working to your own detriment in terms of transforming your life. And it comes from, and a symptom of this might be that you kind of are slippery, that your mind is slippery, that you kind of don't stick to something too long. And that is a message coming through very strongly for some of you, that you are working against your own transformation at this time, okay? So the fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, movement, and more movement. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually it leads to weariness and slippery relationships. With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. Spend some time with the lunar forces, dear fish, as the peace and calm of the moon will soothe your soul. So moon work might be very beneficial to you at this time. We do have a good new moon coming up in Scorpio. When is it? I think it's towards the beginning of November. Some of you might have something there in that particular new moon, but of course this is timeless, so work with the moon cycles regardless, you know what I mean? But you might have an upcoming moon that actually, whenever you watch this, it's going to be touching your chart in some sort of significant way, whether it's a personal planet or an angle or something like that, okay? That's a message for some of you. One thing I want to say is that the fish is very adaptable, and one thing I would say is that, it's slippery. So in some ways, we have this fish energy that's very adaptable, and then we have the spider, which is kind of in that web. So it feels like for some of you, there's a feeling of feeling a little bit stuck. Okay, some of you might feel like you're not slippery, that you're not able to kind of slip out of something or kind of explore the freedom. This might actually come from this idea, this idea of you kind of actually sabotaging as well. And the spider, when it talks about patterns, it might be that you kind of tend to get stuck on these things. It's like a pattern for you. Okay. Now, when the fish is out of balance, it is distracted and it changes its mind often. Okay, and again, some of you might find that transformation does not happen, or you're somehow not transforming, and it might kind of come back to this sort of idea of the fish, where you're kind of like, yeah, distracted. You're not exactly with all that glitters. We have a message there, and there's a song I remember when I was a young girl. Country song. It was by Dan Seals, and it was called "All That Glitters Is Not Gold." And that's a famous, I think, saying. That sometimes we get distracted by shiny things that look good, but aren't necessarily aligned to us. So some of you might even find yourself looking at lots of different ideas that aren't even for you, but they seem to be successful for someone else, or they seem to be good for someone else, or they look good on the surface, but it's actually not aligned with you. It might be kind of more aligned with what your outer self thinks is cool. So that's a message for some of you, that maybe make sure that you're not following glittery things that seem, shiny on the surface, but would not actually be fulfilling to yourself. One thing too is that when we are tending to avoid things, it's because there's something that is not aligning right. And sometimes that's our own fear of being face to face with something. So it can be face to face with the possibility of failure sometimes, but it also could be because something's just not for us and we know it. And yeah, so to bring the fish into balance, we are meant to set small goals and accomplishments. So this could be a message for some of you to not defeat yourself before you even had the chance. For some of you with manifestation, if you are new to it, not all of you will be. Okay, so take this, as it resonates. If you are trying to build up a manifestation ability and trying to improve that, work on small manifestations and then kind of increase those over time. So it kind of builds that belief system. Okay? Don't expect overnight results necessarily, or big results. It's good to kind of, manifest from a small place. The other thing here is to know that if you are in a period of darkness in your life and you feel like everything is just defeating you, do know that this is a period in your life where you are meant to kind of face certain things inside of you. And some of you might already be doing that, facing things that have kind of slipped your reach or your understanding about yourself. I think this is a time in which you are really discovering patterns inside of yourself and how perhaps certain things have been out of your reach, maybe because of your own sabotage. Okay, we have compassion here too, so I think having compassion toward yourself and your failures, even if they're perceived failures, which probably for a lot of you they are perceived failures. It's like you're perceiving them as a failure, but they're not actually. Make sure that you're actually sticking to programs, that you're actually sticking to your goals. A lot of people, and I see this a lot, okay? And I've done it myself. So, I have some experience doing this, but some people will say, oh, this doesn't work for me. And they literally did not try enough. I see it so many times. I really do. Staying power is important. And if you want to get something done, make sure that you're not half-assing anything to your own detriment. That's a very big message for some of you right now. Do not half-ass your life. And do not think that that means that you're failing. Because I feel like for some of you that's the case, okay? Spider, patterns. Let's look at that message here. This is one of my favorite Oracle decks, which is Oracle. Oh, I love this deck. It's a beautiful one. I rarely use it actually for readings. I use it for myself. So the vibration of the spider is the solar plexus chakra. And the keywords are patterns, free will, self-expression. So patterns in life are revealed now so that you can consciously create what you want from this point onward. Situations that have been a little sticky for you are passing, and you no longer need to feel trapped by anyone or anything. Wow, yeah, see, that's the thing. The trap is in your own mind. Okay? I feel like a lot of you are the trap. Your mind, your subconscious. And I'm not saying that to dog on you or make you feel bad. What I'm saying is that I feel like a lot of it is your mindset and your own disbelief in yourself, perhaps, your lack of compassion or appreciation for yourself. A lot of times we are effing ourselves over because we do not have compassion for ourselves. We do not love ourselves. We don't think we deserve shit. And make sure you're not one of those people. Okay? Because I really feel like for some of you, you really think that you're shit. And you're not. Okay? With a new sense of freedom, you can move forward with threads that have personal meaning. These let you build designs that catch the light and weave a life web that supports your real dreams. So I always feel too like the spider kind of represents, it can be beautiful. It can help us achieve our goals. We can connect through other people to other things. We can kind of catch what we want. But, you know, obviously we want to make sure that the patterns we are weaving in our life are going to actually catch what we want. You know, we can't make half-ass webs. Webs are intricate. And again, this might be like, hey, make those plans, make those dedications, the web will build with time. Make sure that you're actually, you know, not missing any of these little, you know, what are these? I don't know. These little things. These little squares or rectangles, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you're not missing something, or you're not giving up and then just not making a section. Okay? So the high note is the joys of creating your own reality. And the low note is challenge issues of control and manipulation. So again, make sure that you're not getting manipulated by the glitter, by what you think other people have, what you think you should have already achieved. My stomach is growling, so, you know, that happens a lot. But, you know, particularly you might feel like hungry for something and you have hunger pains and you're like, you know, hoping for something and you need to kind of fill that up, I feel. But you're kind of, it's almost like you're not doing it in some way is one thing I'm really feeling. But I feel like a lot of you need to look at your patterns and note, have you given up too soon? That's a big one for me right now that I feel like telling you. Have you given up too damn soon? Because you feel like maybe you didn't deserve it or you just lose anyways. You know what I'm saying? Think about J.K. Rowling. I just told this to a friend the other day, but J.K. Rowling had so many rejections, like an insane amount. Like, I think it was like well over 200 or something like that. It was really high. And you're like, how did she not give up? How did she not think her work is shit and that nobody wants it? Like, how did she not feel defeated? She didn't. She kept going. And I'm sure she did feel defeated, but she got back up, brushed it off, and tried again. And now look at where she's at. You know, sometimes things don't just come like that. And as well, she could have just taken that first rejection or the first, I don't know, the 50th even, and said, this is bad, I suck, you know, and not saw her true potential. And no, she kept believing that there was something to it, and self-belief is so important too. But again, I want you guys really, I think one big message the universe has for you right now is to make goals and set them. Small goals, small accomplishments, and start to see how those come into some sort of transformation. I feel like that's one of the biggest things holding you back is the slipperiness. And it comes from some sort of belief or lack of compassion for yourself. There's either a belief that you're going to fail or, again, getting distracted. Again, that symptom of being distracted by a lot of different things is because you're kind of avoiding sticking to something. Because, again, when you stick to something, that means you invite failure into your life. Because then you really tried and then you really failed, and then that's really hard to deal with sometimes. So that's another message specifically for some of you. But I really hope that this reading was insightful. The universe wants you to know that you're a beautiful soul, that you're compassionate, that transformation can be yours. Please do not defeat yourself. Please do not look at things as failure or yourself as failure. Be compassionate to yourself and know that you deserve good things in your life. Cultivate that and know that with time, effort, patience will come reward. Okay? So that is your message. I hope that it helps. Lots of love to you guys at this time. Lots of blessings to you. If you like the reading, please let me know in the comments below if it helped you at all. sharing with your friends, or if you feel like they might need a message here, that's a beautiful thing to do. It's helpful, when you comment, when you subscribe, when you like it, it helps my channel and it helps these messages reach other people. So I always appreciate comments, even if it's just a simple hello, a heart, a sun, I don't know, an emoji, whatever. It helps, and thank you for that. Okay, so I'm just thanking you all for being a blessing in my life, and thank you for being here. Lots of love to you guys, and see you next time. Hey friends, if you chose group number 4 here with this rose quartz, this is your reading. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what messages the universe has for you at this time. What do you need to know? What is hidden from you? What are you not seeing? Okay, that kind of thing. So we have 2 enchanted blooms oracles, magnificence and beauty. Already I'm getting that message here, especially with the rose quartz here, that you're a very beautiful and magnificent person. We have the owl. Very intuitive as well, I see. The moon. And dreams. Soulmates. Choose what makes you happy. And spiral. Okie dokie. Okie dokie smoky. Let's get started. So the owl is kind of my focus card. So the owl is a very wise bird. I think everyone is aware that the owl represents wisdom, and it can also talk about clairvoyancy. So some of you might actually be receiving clairvoyant messages recently, or some sort of psychic messages. I do feel like your intuition right now is on fire, and so you should definitely pay attention to especially dreams, in particular daydreams, even though not just dreams when you sleep, but also dreams when you are letting your mind wander. It's kind of like you could even be doing a task such as washing the dishes, taking a walk, or doing things that kind of keep your mind in that sense. Sometimes we get in this mode where we kind of make our mind in a meditative state even while doing something. Pay attention to the thoughts that come through at that time in the near future, because I think, or recently if you have had one, these are accurate for you. Okay, so the owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is the companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. Funny, beauty, you're beautiful. Okay, that's a big message for some of you. You need to know you're beautiful. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or treasure is on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With owl wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon, how it can be further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasure is infinite. So when the owl is in balance, it's generous, trusting, and secure. When it's out of balance, there are money quarrels and scarcity. To bring into balance is an offering. Some of you might actually be being called to actually literally make an offering to a goddess. Now, if that's in your practice, do that. If it's not, that's okay. But sometimes offerings can be, I have an altar where I offer flowers. And I always make offerings to Aphrodite myself. But that's my belief system. You do what you feel is right for you. If you are, of a Christian faith as an example, or a Muslim faith, there are ways that you can kind of make an offering as well, through your thoughts, through your prayers, through your intentions, through your actions, through charity. So, I feel like whatever your belief system is, there is an offering, I feel like. And sometimes even I feel like an offering can be to kind of offer your thanks and your gratitude for what you've been given. So again, I think that might be something that you could do at this time. Then these are just intuitive messages coming through for you guys. Okay, so here there's another message of not questioning your intuition always. With the moon, sometimes we bring in fear. Although the moon is very much connected to our intuition, sometimes, and I think this is one of the biggest scary things, is that we often kind of have subconscious fears come to the surface. And so sometimes these can show up as intuitive hits, or we worry. Especially, I want to tell you, and I think I've said this probably before, I say it in personal readings a lot, but when we're having intuition about ourselves, oftentimes there's just a knowing without side effect. So it's not like, oh, I just knew something bad was going to happen, or I just know this will happen because I suck and everything bad happens to me. That's not intuition. That's bullshit. Intuition usually, or an answer, will be calm. It's a knowing. It's just, you know it without any sort of outcome or belief. Like, as an example, when my grandmother was diagnosed with lung cancer, the doctor said, oh, you know, she has a month to live. And I remember my mom coming to me and saying, we need to spend time with grandma. She might only have a month left. And I told her, I looked at her, and of course I was a little bit angry. I'm an Aries, okay? I'm Aries moon. I cry when I'm angry. But I kind of got teary-eyed, and I said, no, she's not. But I knew it. I could just tell you, I knew it. It wasn't because I was hoping. It wasn't because I was scared or whatever. There was a different feeling there. And that's intuition. So some of you need to hear that. Intuition is not the worst that could happen, or coming from a place of anxiety, or even false hope as well. Because sometimes we can even cling on false hope, right, when we want something to go well. So that's something that I feel like some of you need to know. And practice in your life, is trying to identify your own intuition, especially if you're an anxious person. Because anxious people in particular, some of you might actually have Moon Mercury in your chart as well, in your astrology chart, like maybe in conjunction, trine, square, something like that. Sometimes these two planets actually are very good for intuition, very good. But there can be that struggle, mind over emotion, and so on and so forth, and it's about getting them into balance. So if you do have that aspect in your chart, I do feel like definitely pay attention to your thoughts and your feelings, and honing your intuition, because you're very intuitive. Okay, so sorry I kind of went off on that rant there. The other message is that you are attracting a soulmate. I do feel like there are treasured people coming into your life. Now, do know that soulmates are not always in the form of romantic relationships. So again, this is not going to resonate the same for everybody. This soulmate that is coming in could be somebody who's just meant to be a friend, a family member. For some of you, this could be a new baby in your life, a new person entering your life in that aspect. But do know that I do feel like there is a soul connection coming your way, okay? Or you've recently met somebody who is a soul connection. The spiral, it says, it's an attraction card, and it says spiral indicates that this is a time to draw towards you what you need in order to progress your position in life. You may have to release something for this to happen. By letting go, you can create space within that automatically calls to be filled. The vacuum contains any kind of energy, so be aware of how you fill it. Yeah, so be aware of how you fill your energy at this time, whether it's with good or positive, right? Good or positive, or bad or negative, sorry. Treat life as a dance at the moment, a combination of growth and rest, and see it all as a cosmic will of your evolution. Try not to reject those things you need but may not want, and those you want but may not need. You're attracting attention. So one thing that I want to say too is I do feel like you might be in an attractive space at this time. So you might actually notice that you're getting attention from other people, and standing out a little bit more. This could bring anxiety for some of you, because maybe you're not used to shining or putting yourself out there. The high note of the spiral is change is coming. Are you ready? So there's that message of change approaching you, that there are changes coming. And sometimes change is scary, right? It's a little bit scary, because sometimes we don't know what it will be. Sometimes we think it will be worse than it actually is. Oftentimes we are anticipating the worst. I feel like a lot of you, if you're anticipating the worst in regards to a change at this time, you need to stop it. Choose what makes you happy. You're aligning with the right thing. Don't let fears, insecurities, doubts creep in and affect the outcome, or your, engagement in the outcome. I feel like a lot of you can be successful. Don't doubt yourself. Especially when you know that there's like a change. It's kind of scary. It's scary to make change. It is scary. But I feel like this is something you intuitively know that needs to happen. The low note is to release, let go, and prepare. And one thing that's really true in life is that when we release, we allow that space, really, like it said, to be filled up by new energy. So when we release doubts, when we release things, people, situations, whatever it is, we allow ourselves to be filled with new energy. And I feel like here, that's one thing that you need to do, is release certain things. You know what these things are intuitively. When I say you need to release things, I know in your heart you're feeling something. You are seeing something. You are knowing something. You're like, oh, I need to release my insecurities. I need to release that person. I need to release that thing, that doubt, that, job, that whatever it is. You know intuitively. What do you need to release? What comes to your mind? That's the thing. Okay? And as long as it's not based on fear. Okay, if there's a fearful thought with that, as in like, I know I need to release it because I'm not good enough for it, or I'm not good enough for it, then that's bullshit thought. That's bullshit intuition. Okay, but if you had a real intuitive thought that isn't clouded by insecurity or fear, then that would be, that direction. Okay, let me see. I think that's the main message here. I do want to say that a lot of you are really attracting a soulmate. And like I said, for some of you, this will come in the form of a friend, a family member, a new family member. For some of you, this will come in the form of love, whatever you're wanting to attract, essentially. And do know as well that you're very, very beautiful, is what I want to say. So if you've been having some sort of insecurity in love when it comes to your outer appearance, I want you to kind of throw that idea away and know that you are magnificent beyond the scope of the physical. And that you're physically beautiful, but you are so much more on the inside, and that you're very magnificent, you're very special, you know what I'm saying? And that the right person will find you beautiful as well, even if you feel like the average person doesn't. And that's just a specific message for some of you that need to hear it at this time, so don't take it if it doesn't resonate. I want to do one more card. Okay, I'm going to take a Seasons of the Witch Oracle. I kind of, sometimes I'll do that with different groups. I just want to choose different cards. Same with my readings, my personal readings. I'm always kind of going with whatever my gut says. So let's see what message comes through. Any other message from the universe? Because I feel like there's one here for you in this deck. What other message? Ooh, elements. Remember to feel the warmth pulsing through her womb. You are a child of the mother. True harmony awaits you. So this came out actually in the reverse, so we will see what that reverse message means. Let's see here. Whoopsie. I think that I went too far. There we go. When elements is in reverse, you are being asked to reset your energy by connecting with Mother Nature. Just being in her presence can heal wounds you didn't even know you had. Spend some time under a tree, watching a sunset, or sleeping under the moon. This will reset your spiritual mechanisms, helping you to clear out stagnant energy. Even if you don't want to sleep under the moon, you could leave your window open for moonlight to come in too. Just a thought. This will reset your spiritual mechanisms, helping you to clear out stagnant energy. This message is amplified if you also pulled crystals and herbs. You may want to consider working with each of the 4 elements separately to get a better feel of their energy. Spend some time getting to know a new element and working with its energy to bring new manifestations into your life. That's quite interesting. So elemental work at this time could be helpful. With air, I would say set intentions, set affirmations. It's like communication, communicating to the universe what you want. Crystals, again, could be quite beneficial to you. Herbs, in particular, in terms of earth energy and earth element. And then water element, of course, it might be good for you to have some sort of water element around you in your life, whether that is like a fountain of some kind, or going near the water in particular, perhaps doing water work. Goddess Gem, actually, I think she's quite a popular channel, and I know that I've seen videos on my recommended of her doing water manifestation, so maybe go check her out and see about water manifestation. That's actually quite interesting. I've never done that before. I usually do things, I'm a fire-based, I think, so I tend to do things through candles, like in candle work, for some of you with the fire, or working with fire in some way. So yeah, I would definitely Google and look into that and see how to balance the elements as well within yourself at this time, and reset as well. Especially some of you might actually find that in your chart you lack a specific element in your astrology chart. So like as an example, I have very little air. I have only Jupiter and Chiron in air, and so the rest is all like pretty much fire, water and earth. Mostly fire. I'm mostly fire, but you know what I'm saying? You might find that you lack something, like a certain element in your chart that you only have like maybe 1 or 2 placements there. This might be a time to go look at your natal chart and identify that. Darn it, I don't have my phone near me, or I would show you what to do there. But I would definitely go and look at that. Look that up real quick and then see which element lacks and work on that element. Google up perhaps, or you can even ask me in the comments that maybe I'll have suggestions about how to increase that element or kind of to work with it. So, you know, I'll try to answer comments if you have them, but that's the messages for you. Do pay attention to intuitive dreams, daydreams, night dreams, whatever. Again, know that soulmate connections are at the forefront and are coming in. Know that you're intuitive, beautiful, magnificent. Choosing what makes you happy is very important, and not allowing doubts to creep through. Lots of messages in this group. I think it'll be quite a popular one. Usually when I'm getting a lot of messages that are kind of like, you know, all over the place, it's like a lot of people are going to be watching this. So again, take what intuitively sits well with you, what your heart feels is for you. And I do wish you guys the very, very best. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you want to help me get more engagement on my channel. It helps a lot to help this message reach other people that might need it. YouTube does have an algorithm, so it's always helpful when people comment, like, dislike even. Honestly, dislikes even help. When you do that, you actually, you know, can help a little bit, because then people are like, oh, why did it get disliked? It has engagement. So whatever you want to do. But I do want to thank you guys for being here, for sharing yourself with me, for being a blessing in my life and letting me be able to kind of guide you, yet you trust me enough to let me guide you. I just appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And go ahead and let's go. And I'll see you on the next reading, okay? Take care.